Tonight's opening starts with an old favorite, Grandpa's Sweater Oatmeal Stout from Barnhammer Brewing in Winnipeg. It's just a nice, rich, stouty, malty kind of a flavor. Very nice beer. As comfortable as Grandpa's Sweater. That puts me in the right mood. Okay, we'll start off with this one, which says components. Probably accurate, could be anything. Oh, hey, this is a hot end, a replacement hot end for 3D printer. Now, this is basically very similar to the stock Creality one. And it comes with a little silicone sock, too. That's neat. So that goes on there basically just to act as a bit of an insulator, and also if plastic starts getting backed up and gooped up, it doesn't stick to the metal. But that's just another replacement part for me to have in stock just in case. It's not a significant change from what's on the machine. It's just if I happen to do some damage. So apparently, if you're not careful screwing in the nozzle, if you're replacing a nozzle, you can cause yourself some problems. MK8 Assemble Extruder Hot End Kit for Ender 3 CR10 printer, 1.75mm, 0.4mm nozzle, aluminum heating block, 3D printer accessories. As you can see, I got this from AliExpress. This particular one came from Unique 3D Store. There's plenty of these available in various different locations if you just look around. But this one, as is my typical method, was the best deal I could find at the time, price and shipping included. So at the time, it cost me $3.35 Canadian plus shipping for a grand total of $4.83. Right now, it appears to be on sale for $3.17 Canadian. Okay, and $1.44 shipping. I don't know if there's much else to be said down here other than what I've said about it. It's aluminum and stainless steel and brass. Stainless steel? The screws, maybe? So I think all that is anodized aluminum. The nozzle's brass, so yeah, I'm not sure. Anyway, it comes with a 0.4mm nozzle, which is fairly standard. It claims to be able to handle up to 260 degrees Celsius. I don't know why you'd want to use it at minus 40. But anyway, there is the exploded view of it. The heat block, the nozzle, silicone sock, some screws. I can't remember what that is called. Liner, maybe. The heat break, maybe. And then the cooling fins and the Bowden tube connector. Or I could have just scrolled down to read them. Right. Next in, we have XJR 000100. Who can tell? That may not even be accurate. Oh, okay. This actually goes with that last one. This is a heating cartridge for the printer. Again, a replacement part, just in case. Yeah, okay, it says 24 volt to 40 watt right there. Okay. And then this is going to be thermistors to go with it. So the heater cartridge goes in there to, heat the aluminum block up. There's a set screw to hold it in. And the thermistor goes into that hole there just to monitor the temperature of the hot end, and then both can connect back to the control board to maintain a steady temperature. Seems back when I ordered these, I was on a bit of a 3D printer spare parts kick. Let's see what these cost. 1 meter, 12 volt, 30 watt, 12 volt, 40 watt, 24 volt, 30, 40 watt ceramic cartridge heater, 6 by 20 millimeters for Mendel RepRap extruder 3D printer parts heating tube. I got one piece, 24 volt, 40 watt. Cost me $1.09 with free shipping. Woohoo! And I got this from Big Tree Tech, which is the supplier of an awful lot of 3D printing components and aftermarket bits and pieces and whatnot. I've got a few things already from them from their eBay store. This one just happened to be their store on AliExpress. Was a bit better deal. And again, just the basic specs. It's stainless steel with a ceramic core, and there are 12 or 24 volt versions and 30 or 40 watt versions. My printer happens to run at 24 volts, so that's the one that I got. Also from Big Tree Tech store on AliExpress, 100K ohm NTC 3950 thermistors temperature sensor with cable, DuPont head for RepRap Mendel Mark IIA, Mark IIB heated bed 3D printer parts. So I seem to have got 5 pieces with DuPont, and I paid $2.76. Again, free shipping. Woohoo! Accuracy plus or minus 1%. It can measure from minus 40 to plus 300 Celsius, of course. Power rating 45 milliwatts. Okay. 7 seconds to react, or less. That's not too bad, I guess. Not much else to say. It's just a thermistor with a length of wire on it. What is next here? It says controller. Okay. Oh, okay. That looks like, it says it right there. It's an RGB LED controller. So 12 to 24 volts in the bottom and 4 pins out the top. So that is a standard analog RGB. That's not a NeoPixel or WS2812 version. It's just normal analog LED strip. RGB LED controller, DC 12 volts, 3 keys, mini LED dimmer RGB, 5050, 2835 SMD strip light. I paid the princely sum of $1 Canadian at auction with free shipping, which is admittedly a hair more than this thing is worth, but whatever. It's a handy little thing to have around. You don't always feel like building up a circuit just to play with some LEDs or light something up quickly, so figured it wouldn't be a bad thing to have around. Got this from Saran7775. Now, I got this at auction, but they've got another listing for the same thing from the same seller, so I'll link to that instead. And of course, you can always use the description as keywords to search and find the lowest price at the time you're watching this. What do we have to say? Plastic, RGB, 4.5 watts. Manufacturer GE, not General Electric, probably. Whatever. Most of this is just random gibberish. It doesn't really matter. 12 volts is correct. Number of speeds, 5, sure, maybe. SK, no, that is smart LEDs, and you don't need those. This is for 4-wire. Oh, let me show you. So it's for any of the RGB 4-wire LED strips. I've got a couple of different ones here, but they both have this same connector on it. Usually they come with a little header to make one end into a male. And here's 2 different types. The one on the top does have 50/50 LEDs, so each LED is an RGB package. Then the lower one has separate RG and B LEDs on it. And like any LED strips, you can cut these every so often to length. The one with the separate, you cut it every 9 LEDs. The one with the 50/50, you cut it every 3 LEDs. But they work the same. So here's what these ones look like lit up. And you can kind of see what's going on. Let me darken it a bit in here. There, that makes it a bit more visible. So that is the one with the separate LEDs. And there's the one with the 50/50 LEDs. So each LED is the same color all the way through. Just whatever you want, red, green, and blue. Yeah, you can see some PWM happening, flickering on the camera, can't you? That's just the dimming. And then it's got a bunch of different modes you can just click through. And different speeds, and you can just individually select specific colors or different modes like that. Anyway, it's just for $1, it's a handy thing to have just to experiment with LEDs. Next in, we have electronic components. Oh, hey, it's ICs. So a whole bunch of little ICs, and can I get them out of the tube here without mangling them too badly? Come out. So little 4-pin ICs, which probably means that they are optocouplers or optoisolators or something like that. Sharp branded, if we can trust that. PC817 is the part number. 50 pieces, PC817, PC817C, EL817, optocoupler, Sharp Dip 4. I got these from Huio Components, I guess, how it's pronounced, I'm not sure. Anyways, I paid $3.01 for it, and I don't remember paying shipping. I didn't see that on it, so I don't think they had shipping on it back when I bought it. Anyway, for 50 of them, that's, pennies a piece. That's not a bad deal. I don't know if I'm ever going to use 50 of them, but that's beside the point. No other details down below, so we'll just quickly bop over to a data sheet. And it shows that they're just a general purpose photocoupler. They can handle up to 80 volts between the collector and the emitter on the secondary side, and 5 kV isolation from the LED side to the transistor output side. And just nice and simple, an LED on the primary side, or the side 1, I guess. Input side? Sure. And essentially an NPN transistor without the base connection wired out on the output side. So on the output side, you just treat it like any other NPN transistor, and on the input side, just treat it like an LED. On the input side, maximum 50 milliamps, so your typical 20 or 30 milliamps of an LED would be just fine. It can handle a reverse voltage on the LED side of up to 6 volts. And collector current, 50 milliamps. So it's not a high current device on the transistor side, but that's okay because you wouldn't normally use it like that anyway. You'd just use it to drive another transistor, or either the base of another transistor or the gate of a MOSFET or something like that. And the final thing in says integrated circuits. Reasonable enough. Oh, there's 2 things in there. Okay. This one, oh, that looks familiar. This is another one of the Lowland Node MCU boards. Basically, it's an ESP8266 on there, CH340 there for USB to serial conversion, voltage regulator, the flash button, the reset button, and a bunch of pins wired out. Handy for Wi-Fi projects. This is a little bit older style board. There are, the D1 Mini is probably the sort of go-to these days in ESP8266 boards, but I think I got a pretty good deal on this one, so that's why I went with it. And what is the other thing that was in the package? Obviously from the same seller. Oh, that's a carrier breakout board for that guy. That's what it is. So he plugs on there, and then that breaks out from each GPIO pin. The pin itself, power and ground, I think. Oh no, I am mistaken. It breaks out each of the GPIO pins just 4 times over, so you can have them go to multiple things. And then there's 4 grounds, 4 3 volts, 4 more grounds, 4 more 3 volts, and more power and ground over on this side. And conveniently, it's got a barrel jack for power input there, and what looks like a buck regulator down there. Yeah, that barrel jack is rated at between 6 and 24 volts. So that would go to this little regulator circuit in here. And then along here we have the voltage in, which is straight off there. We have 5 volts, which is coming, I guess, off that. And then the voltage from the USB, which comes down from here, I guess. Anyway, I will have to experiment with this in the future, but that's kind of a handy breakout for these things because these things are not especially breadboard friendly. I mean, you can stick them on a breadboard, but if you do, there's no pins. You can't actually plug anything else in if you got one of these guys stuck into a breadboard. So that'll make it handy to use for experimenting and tinkering with. New wireless module, CH340 Node MCU V3 Lua Wi-Fi Internet of Things Development Board ESP8266. All keywords present and accounted for. So I got both of these from the same vendor as you might expect, and it was free shipping. Ignore this. That's just because I'm not logged in, and for some reason it likes to say that, but obviously it can deliver to Canada. Where was I? Oh yeah, right. $2.62 for this guy, and from the same store, $1.58 for the baseboard. Both pretty cheap. Huh. And now, if I click around a little bit, it shows a shipping price. Weird. Anyway, at the time I bought it, it was free shipping. Obviously, things have changed since earlier in the year. We don't have to go through that again. I think those are pretty good prices for that. And that was from FYD Open Source Hardware. Even with shipping, that's not bad. I don't think there's too much more to say about it, though. We've seen ESP8266s quite a bit. And there is the contents of today's Mailbag Monday haul. Quite the variety as usual. Shipping times. The opto isolators took 21 days. The two ESP8266 boards also took 28 days. The heater cartridge and thermistors took 32 days. The hot end took 32 days. And this LED controller took 35 days. All pretty reasonable shipping times for early in 2020. Spare parts, future experimenting. These, I think I bought them when I was experimenting with the DMX512 and RS488 stuff, just to isolate the different, each different module from itself. So I'll use those when I go back to experimenting with that. As I said, this guy is just handy when you're testing out some LED strips that you're putting into a project or something. All good stuff. I'm sure I'll get lots of use out of it. Well, thanks for watching. I do appreciate that. Thanks, as always, to my Patreon supporters who help keep the mailbags rolling in and keep my beer fridge full. Questions and comments down below in the comments section, as usual. Thanks again for watching. I will talk to you later.